This will be season 10, episode 5 of Ditch Diggers.
Yay!
Ditch diggers appear and ain't no wannabes here with some not so nice advice for your writing career. To be clear, no punches will be pulled, but the punch may be spiked how they like before they get on the mic. To my left we got the mighty Lafferty, and if I piss her off, believe me, she'll come after me. And her co-host Matt Evan Wallace on the right. Yes, she may be half as hype as she can take him in a fight. So settle in, folks, buckle in and boot up. Time to meddle in a way to make your writer shut up. It's hard work, but the perk is that it's fun and exciting. Facebook will still be there when you're done writing. Ditch diggers! Ditch diggers!
So coming to you live from the dark room with all of the secret photos, it is the Ditch
And the
Diggers.
weird, creepy red light.
And the creepy red light. It is the Ditch Diggers with Lafferty and Ursula Vernon. How are you, Ursula?
I'm in mortgage hell.
Yeah.
I am trying to get the bank to give me a large sum of money at a ruinous interest rate. And you'd think this would be the sort of thing they would very much like to do, but it seems like they do not, in fact, wish to do this. And we've gotten to the point that twice now they've asked me for paperwork. I'd handed in a week earlier. And I've just started forwarding the emails where I sent that to the person who asked for it and saying, if this isn't it, I don't know what else you want.
Yeah.
And they pushed back the closing date, which I am told is totally normal and a thing that happens, and it is just wrecking my brain.
I'm
How
so
are
sorry.
you?
I'm fine. I turned in the edits for Infinite Archive last week and have been pretty much I don't know, my brain feels like a wrung out sponge. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I've been trying to slowly get back into things and, you know, fix up my stream for Halloween, which I did. Tracking rejections again. And, but yeah, my brain is toast. I've got some new things to work on, and I'm hoping for a contract at some point, which is when you really should start working on a new project. But, yeah, and I'm toying with my interactive fiction thing, but really I'm just kind of getting back, putting out fires. I have so many podcasts to produce. And, you know, it feels like we've done them because most of them have been live.
We recorded them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody saw them, but the majority of the people who are my audience have not. So I have a lot of podcasts to catch up on. We have two. This will be the second Ditch Digger, so we have 2 Ditch Diggers recorded as of this one. And then I've got 5 or 6 I should be writing. It's just, it's shameful. I feel terrible, but I've just had no brain for writing or production lately.
I mean, the problem is that if you're writing a thing, you only get so many words in a day. And when you have used all of the words and, in fact, have borrowed against future words to do a big project, then, every now and again, I'll get, a day when I write 4,000 or 5,000 words. I've even done 7. And then for, 2 days after, I just feel like my skull is a bird cage and my brain is a dead bird lying at the bottom of it with its feet in the air.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I do want to take a moment and say that for the very first time since simultaneously streaming to Twitch and YouTube, I'm getting chatters on YouTube. And I want to say welcome. I'm very glad to see you guys are here. I haven't opened YouTube to chat back at you, so I'm trying to figure out if there's anything in my software that can reply. But overall, I'm glad you're here. Welcome. I should probably plan for dealing with YouTube viewers if I want to stream to YouTube. So, yes, welcome. Glad you're here. We've gotten
YouTube.
comments on the site saying the stream looks very nice, very spoopy. Yes, that was the goal. I love this overlay. But anyway, by the way, Ursula is off camera today. That is purposeful. I have not messed up the audio or the video. Or the audio,
Yes,
really.
I was having a bad face day and was like, I don't need to look pretty for the internet. Sorry, internet, I love you. It's not you, it's me.
I wasn't going to go into details. I was just explaining why the camera was off. Anyway.
I think it's important that, we acknowledge that you can just have a bad face
You
day
can?
from this.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So we actually have a bunch of things to talk about. Elephants in the room. I want to talk about crowdfunding. I want to talk about burnout. How do you want to structure this?
Well, we could go, if we're talking burnout in terms of you and I at the moment, then we can go easily from there, since we were just talking about the being fried thing. I'm not really burned out, but I am under all of this stress from the mortgage.
Yeah.
And I can't write on the thing I am supposed to be writing on. And if it had a deadline at the end of the month, I would be forcing myself to anyway, because, the bill's got to get paid. But because fortunately it's not due till the 1st of December, I am working on a totally different thing that nobody has asked for. And so it is easy and not painful. And it's sometimes, that's just how it is. And I am always a fan of chasing, the inspiration that you get, and we'll lie and call this inspiration, because, there's a whole thing that people always say, work on one project at a time, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I have ADHD. I can work on 10 projects at a time.
Yeah.
And
when you start out, work on one project at a time.
Yes. But I had learned long ago that my inspiration is a finite quality. And if I'm excited about something and want to write 2,000 words in a day on it, I should chase that instead of the plugging away thing, because, who knows how long it'll last.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for the subscribe, Cameron. Appreciate that.
I don't think I'm burned out. I think I'm just frazzled.
Right. Yeah. I don't think burnout's the right word for me either, because it seems that there's from what I've heard about burnout, it seems to be much worse than what I'm feeling, but I am just feeling spent. I'm feeling singed out. Thank you, Cake Emmy. I just feel like my brain's been wrung and words got wrung out of it. And I'm happy with the project. I'm happy with the book, but I'm still just not able to come up with some words sometimes. And sometimes when I'm trying to sit at my desk and do something, my brain will just switch off. Like it's like, okay, we're good. We're done. And how about those parsnips in Stardew Valley? Yeah, let's go worry about those. Those are easy to deal with. And I guess I feel guilty because I'm privileged enough to be able to, podcast and write full time. And I can take those kinds of breaks when I need to, but I feel bad. There are, the lots of other people out there who, have a day job and try to write a book, or, have young kids and try to write a book and all of that. So I feel like I guess it's, I don't know, survivor's guilt or something, that if I take a couple of mental health days.
Lazy and decadent for doing it, yes.
True. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and I feel guilty when I do that because, Kevin is in the house working 5 days a week. And even though Kevin does not begrudge it to me and occasionally tells me to take the day off, it's you work, steadily for 8 hours a day or whatever, or at least pretend to. And I work, in a mad sprint for about 2 hours, and then I'm done. So I feel guilty for the other 6 hours because why am I not working? Well, it's the camel and the cheetah thing that I've talked about sometimes on
the camel
online.
And the cheetah thing.
Yes,
what is that?
I am a cheetah. I sleep most of the day and then work extremely hard for about 10 minutes. and then need a nap. And I get everything I need to have done,
Okay.
and I am designed to do that.
Right.
And the camel walks all day and is working all day. And the camel never achieves the speed that the cheetah does and does not do the cheetah things, but the camel keeps going for, 10 hours a day.
Right.
If the cheetah tried to do that, it would drop dead in 20 minutes. And the problem is, this is fine as long as it's, two different people's styles working until you get into basically corporate America.
Yeah.
Because then your boss is like, cheetah, why aren't you working as long as camel? And camel, why aren't you getting as much done in an hour as cheetah? And yeah, then nobody wins.
Yeah.
And the moral of the story is capitalism sucks.
Hey, I'm with you. That's true. So before we got on the call, I was going through and trying to clean up my episode guides. I actually made, maybe I'll try to post a picture of this to the show notes, but I made sheets for each episode to remind myself what I need to do to get the episodes done. And it's helpful, but only if I actually fill them out. But I was trying to find all the ones I'd made and which ones needed to be further created to get back on track of everything. And it's still rather difficult, but I have this nice thing I can supposed to reference.
That is very impressive.
Yeah.
Like preparing for our move, Kevin had to take a couple of hours and sit and do like a timeline board of, at this point I must do this, and at this point I must do this. Mm-hmm. And that sort of thing is absolutely foreign to me, but it worked for him and it allowed him to get the thing set in his head, and that is very important.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's fall, and usually when we get to autumn, I start thinking about NaNoWriMo. I was never good at NaNoWriMo, but I liked supporting the people who enjoyed doing it. And yet...
I actually published one of my NaNoWriMo books approximately 10 years later.
Wow, which one?
That was Clockwork Boys. That was the first of the White Rat Paladin books.
Okay, that's cool. But yeah, it's I should be writing. I'm looking at the words. I'm not gonna say I should be writing shit to bed. I'm gonna say NaNoWriMo shit to bed.
Words are hard.
Words are hard. I'm telling you. So, yeah. First, there was some weirdness last year with a variety of bad moderators kind of grooming kids on the young writers forums. And
yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, and NaNoWriMo didn't do much about it. And when they decided to do something about it, they took the whole forum down with no warning. And from what I understand, that was a pretty big community that those kids had built. And it just got clicked off. And so that was bad. And this was happening in November. That's the problem when your entire world, I guess Santa Claus has the same problem, when your entire world revolves around one moment in time, and then the rest of the year is supporting that one moment in time or that 1 month, then you've got 11 months to try to fix what's wrong. But if something goes wrong in November, it's like, it's hard to get that stuff taken care of. And a lot of people think they did not do a very good job. And then, so lately, they came out in support of using AI to write your books. And
which went over like a blimp full of plaster of Paris.
Yep, it did. Real quick, what a lot of the marketers are calling AI is really large language models, LLMs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and we should call them LLMs, not AI, because we have hopelessly muddied the waters for some very good uses. Like, there are excellent uses for pattern matching software like that. I sort of a citizen science project that I help occasionally is a deep sea. It takes the film taken by deep sea explorer drones, and they need humans to match to say, okay, this species we're seeing here in this photo is a starfish, this is a sea squirt, this is a fish, etc. Once it's trained enough, then the learning model, which in this case is a visual one, takes over and is like, okay, I can classify these 30,000 hours of video footage frame by frame, which a human does not want to do.
Right.
And this is not a case where you're, putting humans out of a job. This is where the humans whose job it is like, for the love of Jesus, give me a program to fix this. There's was another, actually, again, with marine biology, which for some reason, I don't know why this is what I referred to. They have thousands and thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of hours of recordings of deep sea noises and song and whatnot. And there was a sound from the San Andreas fault trench Marianas Trench, sorry, not San Andreas, that was clearly biological, and they weren't sure what it was. It was it was like a biosignature noise. And they were pretty sure it was a whale, but they did not have but matching a sound to another sound is actually very difficult. So they went to Google, who, evil and all, but Google, it was like, if you turn the sound into a visual, like a little waveform or whatnot, then our pattern matching software can match that. And with that, going through the hundreds and thousands of hours of recording, the computer was able to pull up various examples where it matched and say, this is in fact this species of whale, this is its recognition call. And the scientists involved could then go out and basically watch a pod of whales and listen for that sound and then click if they got both simultaneously. But you wouldn't go out and listen unless you thought you might get that blip, which you needed the computer to look at 100,000 hours of sound recording for. So there are things that large models like this are great for. Writing novels is not
absolutely.
one of them.
The thing that amused me was with the Federalist Papers, many of them, people know who wrote them, usually Madison or Hamilton. But there are some that no one knew who wrote it. And then they fed all of it into pattern recognition, large language model thing. And in studying studying who used what words and when and style of writing, they were able to identify who wrote, I think, all of the rest ones that they weren't sure about. And, it's nice when they can do some tedious work for you. But the bad part about it, one, is there's so many bad parts about it. It has the possibility to make corporate suits get little stars in their eyes and think, oh, someone else we don't have to pay? More money for us? Yay! And, put writers and artists out of a job. I mean, you're already seeing it. Like, looking through Amazon, some of the pictures there are ridiculous. They did not hire a model. They did not set up this shot for their product. They tried to draw a woman and her arm bends at the wrong place. And, but it's also the places that do these large language models, they use a lot of electricity and a lot of water, and it's just a big mess for the environment.
And we're not even getting into the plagiarism issues. They are trained frequently on lots and lots of material that people did not necessarily give permission to train them and are kind of appalled by.
Yeah. And it's also the fact that it doesn't come up with anything that a human has not already done so. It's not going to come up with a new solution to anything because it has what it's learned from everything it's read. And there's a lot of stuff on the internet that's A, wrong, B, racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic. I mean, it's just like, and it's reading all of that swill to quote unquote learn. And I just don't I don't want to support any of that.
It's there's a lot bad, and and I don't really want to get into discussion about the possible use cases because, like I said, there are possible use cases that are perfectly ethical for the type of technology. But using it to write your novel is probably about the worst one. And
oh, audio's back? Oh, wow. I was about to just turn everything off. Yeah, I don't know. I tried.
Everything is running at about 75% at the moment, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. 75 seems high. But bringing this back to NaNoWriMo is they're in partnership. You know, one of their sponsors is one of these companies, and they came out in favor of using AI to write. And the thing about NaNoWriMo is you're supposed to work hard. That's the thing. You work hard to see what you can accomplish. It's to show you can do this. It's just hard, but you got this. And now they're just like, yeah, AI's great. And but the other thing was the way they went about supporting it was really weird, because they said that if we say AI is bad or large language models are bad, then we're ableist and classist, because there are people out there who, I don't even know what their argument was, but it was like, if there are people who have trouble writing, these could help them. And so if you take away their tools, you're being bad.
Not everyone can hire an editor, so therefore, if you take this away, you're bad. And it's like, there are one or two legitimate use cases for glorified autocorrect for accessibility if you have, extreme difficulty typing, and it's great for things like email.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's like the equivalent of, when Google pops up the thing in Gmail that's like, you start typing and it's like, do you just want to fill the sentence with awesome, let's do that, because that's what you always say.
Yeah.
And, that kind of thing. And like, sure, but those people are not trying to write books with it, because that's something else again.
Yeah. Okay, so to warn everybody, apparently my ad button didn't work, but I do have an ad coming up in about a minute, so we'll take that break. So long story short, a lot of people have left NaNoWriMo, both on the writer's board, including me and Sarah Gailey and a bunch of other people, but also just the municipal liaison. There's a lot of weird stuff with how they treated I can never say that. Municipal liaisons. If Valerie here, she'd help me. And kind of putting a lot of weird work on their shoulders. But we'll talk about it later, because it's time for an ad break.
Woo! Okay, quick question, just to be sure. Are any of us here in a cult?
Okay, it seems we're back, and the ads are done. So anyway, it's NaNoWriMo is not the people's favorite place to be these days, and I'm curious. Like, I think the kids are asleep. Valerie was talking about the Dream Foundry or Flights of Foundry people doing their own sort of community writing thing, but I wasn't able to find anything about that online. And I just feel something's missing. I feel that excitement for just buckling down and writing in November just feels missing. And if I dealt with it and went back to NaNoWriMo, I'd just feel dirty. So I'm like empty or dirty, and I want a third option.
Yeah, that's a complicated set of emotions. And yeah, I mean, if you just need permission to write a whole bunch really hard for a month, like, do it. We say it's okay. But I understand the community is the important part. And
Yeah.
that's not a thing you can just wave a wand and recreate, unfortunately.
Yeah. I know somebody wrote me an email saying that the writers board of NaNoWriMo should separate and throw our own thing. Like, we're responsible for doing that. And one, not really. I don't think that wasn't our job to watch and see if they're doing a good job, and if they're not, take it from them. But also, you don't want writers to lead things. That is not what we do. We sit in rooms alone.
There are a few of us who have those organizational skills, and they are highly prized, and we will take bullets for them because there are so few of us.
Yes.
And I say us, I am not one of them.
Yeah. And I'm like,
it's basically Mary Robinette Cole.
Yes.
But
yes, Mary Robinette's the only one. Yeah. I love it when people say, describe your work day. And I'm like, I've been doing this for 20 years and I still don't have a routine for my work day. I would love one. I can't organize crap.
I have a routine.
I know. That's awesome.
Yeah. But then I break it and have no idea what I'm doing.
Yep. Exactly. I've kind of got this perfect idea in mind about when I get all this shit that's on fire, when I get rid of that, then I can start my routine fresh next week. But that never happens.
No.
We're also going to talk about fallen idols. Those are fun. It's been how many days since an idol has fallen?
Not nearly enough.
Yeah. Really, I think this is a podcast for writers who want to make their career this. And I suppose anybody who does anything public-facing that people love, including politicians, believe it or not, I expect that can get like a heady, exciting thing. And when you can behave badly because of that, then a lot of people do. I mean,
yeah.
Guy I went to college with, I studied Shakespeare with him. I feel like everyone that I have a connection to who's like lots more famous than me has fallen off their pedestal. And we shouldn't put people on pedestals. But I went to school with a guy at UNC, and I liked him. He was okay. And I could tell he was going into politics. He just had that way about him. And he tried to go into politics. He went into state politics, then he tried to go to national politics 4 years ago. And then he had an affair with one of his campaign staff. And even though the man he was running against, his wife had just filed for divorce and cruelty was mentioned in the filing, that other guy still won. So I'm like, okay, so I could have been college buddy, could have said I was college buddies with one of our senators, but no, he's just another guy who couldn't keep it in his pants. But I guess all I want to say is, y'all, make good choices.
Keep it in your pants.
Keep it in your pants. Make good choices. Think, if I do this, will there be a fallout from it? And it feels like I'm telling kindergartners not to hit each other, but it's like.
And the problem is that most people do not need to be told that and would rightfully resent being treated like a kindergartner, but apparently some people do need to be told that, and it's never the ones you think. So, yeah.
Yeah, someone in chat says, explain why you thought this was a good idea. Yeah. So, and I think a lot of people are hurting. because a lot of very kind, we thought, people have turned out to be not so kind to certain people. I'm just babbling. It's if you're listening to this later and you're not sure where in time we are, we're in time where Neil Gaiman was basically accused of being not a very good person in a lot of ways.
And more than ignore that.
Okay.
More than one person has shown up to say, "Oh yeah, definitely not." Like,
Yeah.
there's really no question that dude was, a scumbag. So
Yeah.
it's all very awful. And I think they're canceling the next season of Good Omens because of it, which I'm pissed about.
Yeah. There's like, I went to get my tattoo. I recently got a tattoo I've been wanting for a while. I can't show the camera. I tried before this, and it would require me dislocating my elbow to show, or standing up, which I also don't want to do because I'm lazy. But anyway, I got a new tattoo, and I was chatting with the tattoo artist who, you walk into the tattoo place and you see that they've got posters from Final Fantasy VII on the wall, and they have Gideon the Ninth books on their bookshelf, and you think, okay, I'm in the right place. And we were chatting, and she's like, this was about a month ago, and she told me that she has already been covering up some Gaiman-inspired tattoos. It's just, yeah. Anyway, big mess.
I will admit it worries me a little when people get tattoos of my art, not because I intend to become terrible, but I'm always like, that's great, but you don't know if I could turn out to be a nut job. And,
yeah.
I mean, I know I'm not, but the person getting the tattoo doesn't. And yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember when I was trying to come up with my very first tattoo, I wanted a character from a manga, and my husband's like, will you want this on your body in 30 years? And turns out the answer was yes. I might still get that tattoo. But, he made me look long-term, and yeah.
Actually, by the way, I am enormously flattered when people have gotten tattoos of my art, which they've done occasionally. It is very flattering. It's just, I also have the immediate knee-jerk guilt of, oh God, now I'm responsible for, not making this person regret that they put something of mine on their body.
Well, I've got a tattoo of your art.
Yeah, and what's going to happen when I turn out to be a nut job?
Well, you're leaving for New Mexico, and I can hold that grudge for a little while, but it's still not really a nut job thing. Just don't, go wild and kill a bunch of people, because I really like the tattoo.
I'll do my best.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Gosh, do we have anything else we wanted to talk about? I don't like to leave it on the downer note of, yes, that person you thought was a very kind and brilliant writer is also...
We had a book event last Saturday.
Yes, the book event, that's right. Our local bookstore saw that we both had books coming out around the same time. Ursula has A Sorceress Comes to Call, and I had The Ophelia Network, which was an Audible original 2 years ago and just came out in print last week. And so they wanted to get us together to do just a conversation, which felt weird to start out with, but then they realized that they could just wind me and Ursula up and we'll talk for a long time.
It's true.
Yeah. So...
to the point where one of the audience questions was, how long have you two known each other?
Oh, yeah.
It's been
yes.
a while.
But then we realized it was getting close to 20 years.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a really good event. People asked really interesting questions. The room was packed. I think that's largely your doing. But did have some of your fans ended up buying my books and saying, I don't even know what this is about, but it was fun listening to you. I'm like, oh my God, that you're going to hate it, aren't you?
No, no, I'm sure they will love it. They are good books.
Thank you. Oh, okay. So, Emedius says, tell us how you feel about potatoes. That's a quote, I believe, not an actual suggestion, because we don't have that kind of time.
We don't. And anyone listening who does not know my feelings on potatoes, probably count yourself lucky.
Yeah. Actually, I would like to get you and Chuck Wendig on stage somewhere and see who can rant the longest, potatoes or apples.
Oh, I can talk about apples too. I was remarkably pleased with Black River Orchard and the apple discussion, because like apples are fascinating.
Yeah.
Actually have some of the same problems as potatoes in terms of reproduction. You can reproduce them by cloning, and you kind of have to because they don't come true from seed. And yeah, it's
a weird. That seems like a bad idea. Not
coming true from seed.
Just, I mean, making it harder to make plants and food grow. That's.
Well, no, because I mean, as far as the plant is concerned, it's great because it mixes up its genes every single time it has a seed, and it can also reproduce just by cloning itself. So the plant thinks it's doing great.
Right. Oh yeah, I want to talk about the crowdfunding thing. I'm currently trying to change up what I'm offering on Patreon, and I'm a professional writer, but yet naming things is not my strong suit. So right now my tiers in Patreon are just named for colors. I don't even know what I was thinking. I think my kid had drawn the yay button as some of my stream iconography, and so I just changed the colors of the buttons to fit the different tiers, and then I found out, I was looking at all of my Patreon supporters and discovered there are 31 people who have been supporting me since 2014. 10 years.
Wow.
10 years, yes. I knew there was one, but I wanted to see who else had subscribed first in 2014. And then I thought, oh, I could have like new ideas of, sorry, my brain just turned off. Hell, this is reading chat about potatoes and then thinking about The Martian and then just going far away. I'm very sorry. I wanted to come up with new levels of things to call people for, like the 1 year mark, the 5 year mark, the 10 year mark, or whatever. I was trying to come up with cool names for them.
Right, like the like when you give money to a charity and they're like, you're now in the leadership circle, or the Golden Warbler Club, which is what Cornell Lab of Ornithology does, and then they start sending you fundraising emails or fundraising letters with very large check boxes, and you were like, honey, that was an advance and a one-off. You are not getting that kind of money. But
my problem is, like, the ornithology department has their birds, so it makes sense to name tiers after birds. John Kovalik, he names tiers after his characters for the comic he's been drawing for like 40 years.
If I had tiers like that, I would name them after potatoes or something.
Huh. Well, see, I'm thinking like I was going to say I do too many projects to actually hone in on one thing to name stuff after. But you just said you do potatoes, and you do a lot of projects too.
Yes. But I'm known for the potato thing. And so I'd be like, all right, this is the Yukon Gold tier. This is the Potomac Red tier.
I wasn't going to steal I wasn't going to steal your potato thing, because I don't have the same passion as you do. Also, would make no sense.
But do you have a passion about something the way I have a passion about potatoes?
There's no crop that gets me angry.
It doesn't have to be a crop. It can be anything. What do you like that
that I talk about a lot.
Yeah, what is the thing that people can get you ranting about?
Probably video games. That makes me sound like a
I mean,
literature.
do Stardew Valley crops. This is the parsnip tier. This is the tomato tier. This is the magic seed tier.
Yeah. Okay. Stardew sounds good. Mur has a passion about baseball. That is absolutely true, and yet it's dead. So I would. You're right. You're absolutely right. Baseball would be perfect, except it's dead.
Right.
And now I'm sad. But I was realizing, going back to our book event, that people asked us, it was really funny, people asked us what books that we get excited about and talk about. Because they saw, like, we get along great, and we can riff off each other. So clearly, we must read books and talk about them. And Ursula and I have very different taste in books. But...
yeah, if I like a book, there's a good chance she won't like it. But we often hate the same books, interestingly enough.
True. Yeah, I wouldn't say I hated the Scottish kilted romance stuff. Just not interested in reading it. But we didn't talk about video games, which we both have. We seem to like the same video games, but not the same books, which is strange.
We contain multitudes.
We do.
But yes, I'm trying to think, I did not play Stardew Valley with the same undying passion that you have.
Mm-hmm.
I played it for a bit and, got my little farm to the point where my granddad was proud of me and then was like, okay, I'm done. But
yes, you got to get that granddad proud of you. And I especially since a lot of new content came out with the recent update. And if you haven't heard, y'all, 1.6 content is coming to consoles and iOS on November 6th. So, I don't know how I'm going to play it with Dragon Age out.
Yeah, that's the great killer.
Yeah.
My other problem is that Satisfactory just hit the 1.0 release and got out of beta, and I have been playing that obsessively, which is a factory optimization kind of game set on an alien planet, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it might be my lack of artistic vision and difficulty in designing anything, but actually I had a friend who gifted me that game, so I would play online with him, and I played once and I'm like, no, I can't, I don't know. I ended up just exploring the world, and he's like, no, it's a safe world, not a lot of combat. I found something that killed me. I was that good at it. And I also
have an astounding talent for finding things that are going to kill you. Yeah. It's true.
Yeah. I also fell off a cliff once, I think. Grouper is back in Skyrim again. Man, yeah. Skyrim is still awesome.
Baldur's Gate, we both had a great time.
Yes, I'm still having a great time.
But yeah. Anyway, it's been an hour. Maybe we should stop talking.
Maybe we should. Ursula, tell the good people where to find you and your awesome things.
You can go to Red Wombat Studio and find most of the stuff. Also, my books under the name T. Kingfisher are available online and at a bookstore near you, hopefully. And yeah, I'm trying to think. Also, I'm on Blue Sky as T. Kingfisher. If you need to get me going about potatoes or something, that is the easiest place to find me. I'm not on Twitter anymore. I mean, my account's still there, but I don't check it.
Yeah. And you can find me and this file and the show notes at merverse.com. And I'm going to be putting out a lot of podcasts in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned, and then hopefully I'll get caught up. But coming up, we have Kat Rambo on the show tomorrow. I'm going to have Dan Coyce on the show in a month or two. I'm excited about that one because that's another person I went to college with who has not turned out to be a douchebag. So,
yay!
Yeah. This podcast was produced under Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives license. Music provided by Devo Spice, devospice.com.
Ditch Diggers!
This is a free podcast brought to you by the kindness of our patrons. If you would like to also be kind and a patron, go to patreon.com/mightymur.